Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Rundown, where we talk about 2A news and conservative views. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. But as we all know, I do not do this program by myself.
That's right. My name is Mike P. Waworski, coming to you live from the East Coast. That's the coast with the most, from the co-host with the most, here on The Rundown. 2A views, conservative news, and Craig, guess what day it is?
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
It's hump day.
Hump day!
It's hump day.
Hump day!
That's right, folks. Today is Hump Day. This is the day in which we attempt to begin the weekend, sometimes with success, sometimes not. But as we like to say, the fun is all in the trying.
Yeah, that's right. It's like trying to have kids, right? Same thing. Same.
Exactly. Whether you're trying or not, you're at least practicing.
Practice makes perfect, right?
There you
Exactly right. There you go.
go. I wish practice would make perfect, kids.
Oh,
doesn't always work out that way.
Perfect. 19-year-old. Got a 19-year-old, right? She's going to college this week. There's some stuff. She's staying at home a couple days, right?
Mm-hmm.
She gets asked to take out the trash cans, so she took the trash cans out. Well, she didn't take the trash from inside the house and put it in the trash cans first. She took the empty trash cans to the curb. Perfect child. Did exactly what she was asked to do.
You know, dude, I had my kids, I thought, perfectly trained when it came to doing dishes. When they went off, my daughter went off to work on a cruise ship. My son went off to college. They came back. It was like they had forgotten everything that they had learned before they left the house.
Oh yeah.
It was like, chores. What are those?
Shake that stuff right out of the head. Yeah.
It's like they were deprogrammed or something.
Their head up. Just you get it all out of there.
Sometimes, sir, it'd be like that. Sometimes it'd be like that.
Yep.
In any case, we got a lot to talk about today. And, mostly, to be honest, all of it's going to really be surrounding the debate and the post-debate discussion. But before we get into it, we got to do what we do. And that is, first of all, give a quick shout out to our sponsors.
That's right. Do what we do and do it the best. Hey, let's say hello to our good friends at Hitman Industries, hitmanindustries.net. You got to get yourself an AR barrel. This is the place you got to go. Fresh off the mills. They make them every day. Rifle and pistol calibers, any length you desire. That's hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly, fighting the good fight behind the enemy lines. Now you can take part in California's future today. If you want the best in tactical concealed holsters on the market, get on over to hawgholsters.com. That's HAWG holsters.com. Use the discount code The Rundown. It's all one word. Spaces, all caps. Get yourself a nice little discount. And if you want the best in tactical concealed holsters on the market, get on over to uscombatgear.com. You can find all the accessories you need.
That's right, folks. These are our sponsors. They bring us to you so that we can bring you to them. So do us a favor, do them a favor, do yourself a favor. Visit their websites. You can find the links in the description to this program. Go there, check them out, spend some money with them. And when you do, make sure you tell them it was the guys over at The Rundown that sent you. Also want to encourage you, if you're watching the program live today on Facebook, on YouTube, on Rumble, on Twitter, please go ahead and give us a shout out. Tell us what's up. We would love to hear what you think about the program, about today's topic. If we find something to be incredibly interesting, we'll go ahead and we will share it with the audience. So go ahead, once again, give us a holler. All right, let's go ahead and get into today's program. We're going to start off once again, just kind of giving you a brief overview of the debate. And if you notice in the title of the program, I called it a so-called debate because it was only a so-called debate because usually a debate is between the two candidates. But when the moderators happen to be on one particular side, well, then it becomes kind of clear exactly what is going down. One story in particular I thought that actually voiced it really, really well, and so I wanted to make sure to go ahead and reference it, is over at the New York Post in their political section. It says here, Trump rattled as well-peppered Harris gets help from ABC debate moderators 3-on-1. Former President Donald Trump repeatedly found himself on the back foot Tuesday night during his debate with Vice President Kamala Harris. As Republicans seethe over the repeated fact checks of the GOP candidate and noticeably lighter touch for the Democrats' own disputed statements, Harris arrived well prepared to rattle Trump by claiming that military leaders had told her that the Republican nominee and the 45th president was a disgrace, that world leaders were laughing at him, and even asserted that people start leaving his rallies early out of exhaustion and boredom after he was fired by 81 million people in 2020. Now, Mike, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to throw it out there, and I'm going to ask, before we get into some of the other stuff like the fact checking and all of that stuff, give me your kind of general perspective on what you saw regarding the debate.
So if we look at it down the middle, Craig, candidate versus candidate, and not including candidate versus candidate, debater and debater, the commentators there. President Trump answered every question with a fact, at least what you and I believe to be facts. We'll talk about that, like we said, the next topic. Candidate Harris said she has a plan to handle this, and she has a plan to handle that, and she's got a plan to handle this. Greg, not once did we ever hear what that friggin' plan was. And if we did hear what the plan was, it was, hold on, what was Donald Trump's plan in 2017? That's what we're going to do. She mirrored his plans exactly, and any new plans she had no definition of the plans. So it was very odd. It was like watching her steal everything that he has said or done, and then everybody in the crowd going, oh my goodness, that's such a good idea. Let's do the child tax credit. Why have we never done that before? And Donald Trump standing there like, are you people friggin' morons? Do you not remember this? It was a show. It was a funny show. And face to face, he still beats her, right? And I think 3 versus 1 still beats her because he's the only one that came out of there with any actual facts being relayed.
I think you're right. He was the only one that came out that actually had discussed any facts. I will say that in the end, if you were voting for Trump, you were not dissuaded from voting for Trump. If you were voting for Kamala Harris, you were not dissuaded from not voting for Kamala Harris. Now, how it was handled probably was directly related to, or at least what you saw in the debate overall was directly affected by who you were rooting for. If you were supporting Donald Trump, right, what you saw was a whole lot of unfairness. You saw her make a whole lot of untrue statements, factually untrue. I mean, statements that were so untrue that people who I know who don't follow politics were like, oh yeah, no, that's not true. I mean, obviously, things that had already been debunked by places like Snopes and PolitiFact and factcheck.org. I mean, liberal fact checkers have already said, yeah, at the very least, they're like, yeah, you got to give that some context, right? In fact, let's talk a little bit about the fact checking. And this was a video that someone put together. I wish I could say that I could take credit for it, but I will not take credit for it because I didn't put it together. But it really kind of outlined a lot of her lies. And well, actually, no, wait. Oh, yeah. Okay, let me point out just some of the lies that she stated that just clearly were not true. Check it out.
Tim Walz and I are both gun owners. We're not taking anybody's guns away, so stop with the continuous lying about this stuff.
We have to have a buyback program, and I support a mandatory buyback program. It's got to be smart. We got to do it the right way.
Do you believe in the mandatory buyback of quote-unquote assault weapons?
I do believe that we need to do buyback.
Let's remember Charlottesville, where there was a mob of people carrying tiki torches, spewing anti-Semitic hate. And what did the president then at the time say? There were fine people on each side.
And you had some very bad people in that group. But you also had people that were very fine people on both sides. You had people in that group, and you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. But you had many people in that group other than neo-Nazis and white nationalists, okay? And the Supreme Court had great courage in doing it. And I give tremendous credit to those 6 justices.
There is no state in this country where it is legal to kill a baby after it's born. Madam Vice President, I want to get your response to President Trump.
She was big on defund the police. In Minnesota, she went.
Where do you stand on defund the police?
Look, right. So here's the thing. Defund the police. The issue behind it is that we need to reimagine how we are creating safety. And when you have many cities that have 1/3 of their entire city budget focused on policing, we know that is not the smart way and the best way or the right way to achieve safety. For too long, the status quo thinking has been you get more safety by putting more cops on the street. Well, that's wrong. And then also, again, what we need to do about demilitarizing our schools and taking police officers out of schools.
On that point, Donald Trump, the candidate, has said in this election there will be a bloodbath if this and the outcome of this election is not to his liking.
Mexico has taken over a period of 30 years 34% of the automobile manufacturing business in our country. Think of it, went to Mexico. China now is building a couple of massive plants where they're going to build the cars in Mexico and they think that they're going to sell those cars into the United States with no tax at the border. Let me tell you something to China. If you're listening, President Xi, in Mexico right now, and you think you're going to get that, you're going to not hire Americans, and you're going to sell the cars to us. Now, we're going to put a 100% tariff on every single car that comes across the line, and you're not going to be able to sell those cars. If I get elected, now, if I don't get elected.
So now you see all of those statements were there, right there, were fact-checked, right? I mean, we're not fact-checked. All of the statements that she said, not a single one of those statements were fact-checked by the 2 fact-checkers. I mean, by the hosts. I'm sorry. They weren't supposed to be fact-checkers, but by the hosts. Nonetheless, you had Donald Trump fact-checked no less than 7 times, as pointed out by Breitbart. Here are the times that they pointed out. You had one, there is no state in the country where it is legal to kill a baby after it's born. Excuse me. We just saw that. 8 times it's happened just in the last year. In Minnesota alone, it has happened. And that's, once again, that's from a news report. I just wanted to clarify with you that up in Springfield, Ohio, ABC News did reach out to the city manager there. He told us that there have been no credible reports of specific claims of pets being harmed or injured or eaten. Clearly they weren't at the city council meeting, but I digress. Here's another one. President Trump, as you know, the FBI overall says violent crime is down. They ignore the fact that it's down from the Biden-Harris high of 2021 and 22. And even with that, it's only down because 18 big cities, police departments have stopped reporting their data or their information. Go figure. Here's another one. The question about whether or not you as president, not the former Speaker Pelosi. Oh, that was when who was in charge of security. He mentioned who was in charge of security on January 6th. He was right, but they still decided to fact check him. Mr. President, thank you. Vice President, you heard the president tonight. He said he didn't say that he lost by a whisker. So in other words, once again, fact checking him. President Trump, thank you. You did bring up something. You said you went to negotiate with Vladimir Putin. Okay, that one they were right because she didn't go to negotiate with Vladimir Putin. She only went to see Zelensky, but he was 100% correct in a few days after she went there, guess what? There was an invasion. That's how much respect world leaders, including Putin, has for Harris. Once again,
my absolute favorite, my favorite one of all of these is that the president points out, former president points out that in Springfield, they're eating dogs, they're eating their pets, right? That they're eating other people's pets. So what do? You've got immigrants eating dogs there. So what do? Let's go to the public affairs department in the city and get their statement. Oh, their statement is, no, that doesn't happen in our city. It's okay to live here and bring your pets. It doesn't happen here. I love it. It's wonderful. But now, Craig, they've entered the 4 stages of reporting cycles now on these events. And I'll give you the example on the eating the dogs, right? So stage 1, right? Nobody wants to eat their pets. That's what we're going to hear in stage 1. Nobody wants to eat their pets. Stage 2, why are you so concerned about people wanting to eat their pets? They start to spin it a little. They start to turn it. Stage 3, did you know eating your pets is actually good for you? That's stage 3. Comes back around again. And stage 4, Craig, if you don't eat your pets, you're a white supremacist racist.
I was waiting for the racists. I was waiting for the racists. If you have a problem with people eating their pets, you are a white supremacist racist. Homophobic, bigot.
There you go.
Woman hating.
Yep. That's where this is all going to end up. Yep. For every one of them. That's what we're going to see over the next couple of weeks.
Our good friend Razmik could have been an opportunity. It was an opportunity missed, but there were other opportunities. And Trey Gowdy, I think, put it really well in an interview that he did on Fox News. So I'm going to go ahead and play this interview real quick, and then I'll talk about some of the missed opportunities that I saw.
Last night, I know the president listed several people that he had fired during his administration. He may want to add to that the people that prepped him for the debate last night. It was the land of missed opportunities. And yes, I get that the ABC moderators fact-checked him and not her. I got a news flash for all Republicans. He's not the first Republican candidate to run into a media headwind. In fact, every single Republican presidential candidate has run into a media headwind. It's their question, but it's your answer. And if you're talking about dogs and cats, right now, Dana, you hear the power of calling the names of victims. It is incredibly powerful to call the name, to personalize the victim. Did you hear President Trump call the name of a single person raped, robbed, killed, assaulted by a border crosser last night? I did not. I heard about cats and dogs in Ohio, but I didn't hear the name of a single person that was killed as a result of Kamala Harris. How about the Afghan kids that were droned? Do you hear them brought up? I mean, any names? It was a land of missed opportunities to me last night.
I mean, he's 100% right. When she flat out lied about there not being any soldiers involved in conflicts right now, dude, there are soldiers that had died of dealing with these Houthis who are attacking shipping lanes, right? Why did he not, when it was brought up, Mike, it was brought up, they asked, well, what are you going to do to deal with Hamas and Israel? Why didn't he bring up the Abraham Accords? Why didn't he say, look, I got 3 fundamentally Islamic nations to agree to sit down with Israel and agree with their right to exist, right? They normalize relations with Israel. If any other president, let me clarify, if any Democrat president had done that, they would have won the Nobel Peace Prize. Why didn't he say that, I got South Korea and North Korea to sit down for the first time and meet in our generation? Or even talk about how, and when it comes to foreign policy, talk about how he finally got NATO countries to pay their fair share for their own national defense. Before him, only 4 countries were paying the 2% of their GDP they agreed to pay. And the U.S. was one of them. Now there's 18 out of the 24. I mean, just so many missed opportunities. And, what I thought he took advantage of that was good, at the very end, he made it a point to say, look, all these things that you say you're going to do, you've been in the White House for 3.5 years. Why haven't you done them? My question is, President Trump, why did you wait until the very end of the debate to say that?
And Craig, listen, I normally agree with Trey Gowdy pretty much, and with you some of the time. But I believe that he did say these things. I mean, as soon as she brought up January 6th, he put out Ashley Babbitt's name. He talked about Ashley Babbitt and gave her name and that she was killed. That started That was in the first 15 minutes of the debate. All right. And when they talked about the NATO, these countries, former war allies of ours, paying their bill, he brought that up every time she talked about, going after the 1%. And he talked about how they continue to take that money, even though he negotiated that deal. They have, and whether they agree with it or not, they have not turned that deal off. They have not turned off the tariffs. He talked about those things. Now, I have no problem with how the president responded last night, Craig. If he had gone to the point where he had been throwing out names every second, and he had been fighting and throwing jabs every second, then today we'd be hearing, oh, asshole Trump, right? Oh, the bad man Orange. We'd be hearing all of that. He didn't do that last night. He didn't do what the majority of his haters did not like. And now today we were going to sit here and say we wish he had done more of that. I can't. I'm not going there.
No, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry to tell you. No, he missed a bunch of opportunities. When the question was about when the question was about the border, she started mentioning crowd size, and he went off and used his entire time talking about crowd size. Nobody cares about crowd sizes. It was like every time she baited him, he took the bait. There's a reason why, Mike, he showed up in the spin room afterwards, because he knew that he didn't do. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think in the end, I don't think this hurts him at all, but he knew he didn't do as well in the debate as he needed to or would have liked to.
No, I disagree. I think he purposely went out there and did not become the inappropriate, foul-mouthed person that the TDS haters.
I didn't say he had to be foul-mouthed. I said that he had she threw opportunities out there for him, and he just missed. He just missed them.
This whole thing that he didn't say names is untrue. This whole thing that he didn't talk about, getting money from other countries, that's not true. He talked about the tariffs.
No. What you're talking about, see, now you're conflating things. He was talking about tariffs on China. That's what that conversation was about. That had nothing to do with NATO, and he didn't. NATO never even came up last night.
He was talking about the countries in Europe because they were talking about where he was getting money from. In addition to tariffs, he gets money from European countries that refused to pay before. That was absolutely.
All right, I'm gonna have to go back and watch the debate because that's not what I didn't hear that. I did not hear that. I didn't hear him talk about that at all. I also didn't hear him talk about the Abraham Accords, which, by the way, was perfectly fit for the question that was asked to him. You had an Israel organization, and Israel. You had a Jew, you had a Israel, and you had a Muslim. Well, I don't want to call him a country, a Muslim entity. How are you going to normalize relations? He's already done it. Perfect opportunities that he just missed.
In your defense, you do get the censored California version of the debate. I mean, I know they do that when they send you that kind of information. So,
okay, I get it. All right. Well, evidently, we saw the debate. We saw a different debate. But in any case, that then leads to the next question: will there be a second debate? And as is being reported by some folks, I believe it is CBS News. Yeah, CBS News. They're actually open, or at least the Harris camp is actually open to a second debate. It says here, Kamala Harris's campaign wasted little time after the first debate between Harris and the former president, Donald Trump, on Tuesday before calling for another matchup, although Trump indicated he's not enthusiastic about a rematch. All right, so the one thing I will say, and I'm gonna end that report there, is he definitely, I'm not saying he wasn't enthusiastic. I am going to say that it definitely is not going to be on ABC. If it's on any other if it's on any of the big networks, including CNN, absolutely not, because Trump can't. Well,
you're wrong.
Everybody else who saw the debate eating cats.
Hold on.
Come on, man.
Now,
her father was a Muslim professor.
If you're not gonna let me finish,
he was a Muslim economist. Oh no, I'm Muslim. I'm not Muslim. I'm sorry. He was a Marxist economist.
So,
no low blows.
If you're not gonna let me speak, I mean, you don't need me here. Okay,
no,
here
ahead.
we go. So he went out there and did what you talked about earlier in the week. Oh, he's got to be respectful. He's got to be good. He's got to be the controlled Trump. And that's what he got. And now today we have people saying, oh man, he wasn't off the hook like we wanted to see. He should have
No one is saying he wasn't off the hook. No one is saying that. No one is saying that, Mike. No one is saying that.
Once again, still talking here. And now, and here's what we're going to see on the second round. And this is how this works. Come on. You know, now it shows he's able to stand toe to toe with three people and still come out at least even. All right. The next time he comes out, he's coming out like, just like the videos of we see him going into the WWE ring. I mean, you're going to see Rocky in the 15th round. You're going to see Hulk Hogan when he's down on the mat and finally his arm starts shaking in the air and he stands up and whoops the hell out of everybody. That's the Trump you're going to see at the next debate. And if he takes it on Fox, he's making the wrong decision. He needs to go back in the belly of the beast and kick their ass on their turf.
All right. Number one, nobody is saying that they wanted him to come out and be mean, nasty Trump. And no one is saying that he didn't do that. What people are saying is there were policy opportunities where she had inconsistencies, where she had lied, where he could have hit her over the head with his record, not be mean and nasty, just point out his successes in those areas. And he missed them. He missed those opportunities wildly. He missed them time and time again.
I heard you say,
dude, I don't know what to tell you. I think that he did a good job of mentioning the border a bunch of times. I think he did a good. I wish he had been a little bit more diverse in his commentary on it, because all he kept saying is they're letting in very, very bad people. They're letting in very, very bad people, criminals, and he just repeated that over and over again. It would have been nice if he would have spread out the criticism, because there's plenty there. If he had talked about, you know, the people, instead of talking about the cats and dogs that are being eaten, if he had talked about the men, women, and children who've been raped, robbed, and murdered by people who've entered the country illegally, he didn't even mention that. I mean, these are clear and obvious opportunities that he missed. And I think the only what you are 100% right about is this: if there is a debate number 2, Trump will do much better, because that's what he did in 2020 when he messed up in the first debate. The second debate, he came out and he mollywopped him. He mollywopped Joe Biden. And Joe Biden of 2020 is still way better than Kamala Harris of 2024. So I believe that if there is a second debate, I do believe he does better, because Donald Trump, look, you don't run businesses like he's run, file bankruptcies, and then come back and be successful if you don't do this one very important thing: learn from your mistakes. And that's what Donald Trump is very, very good at.
Yeah, and listen, that even the whole democracy, or excuse me, the bankruptcy thing, Craig. Listen, when you own 500 businesses and you got 2 or 3 that are tanking, guess what you do? You cut sling load and you cut your losses and you move forward. You know, that's what a good businessman does. You know what a bad businessman does? Believes that if he just tries a little harder and puts more sweat equity into it, that he can save it. Meanwhile, they're taking his house away from him. Okay. A smart businessman knows when to move on, cut his losses, and start again. And that's 3 businesses out of 500.
Right. Once again, not disagreeing with you. My point is, he learns from his mistakes.
Yeah.
So
I listen. I like that he talked about the people that were coming across, the illegals that were coming across. You're in marketing. You're in public affairs, Greg. You know you got to say something 8 times for it to stick in somebody's head. 8 times it's got to come through, right? How many times? 8 times he said it. And I know he said at least 8 times, right? That Greg, that there was 1 million people. 8 times he came across, he said there were millions coming through. 8 times he talked about that you had to get rid of these criminals coming through. The criminal migrants coming through. 8 times he talked about it. And you know what else I know right now?
I also know in marketing is it's even better if you can say it 8 times differently. If you can say the same thing 8 times differently. Right. My issue was he said the same thing 8 times all the same way. But anyway.
So you've never heard a jingle in your head, right? You've never heard a jingle in your head because you remembered it because it was said to you so many times? You've never heard
jingle is something that is said that is memorable. That can be made to be memorable. I'm sorry.
I'm going to prove a point real quick. Here we go.
Okay.
You ready? I guarantee you, everybody that watches this show knows exactly how many times it takes to make a point now.
To make a point? Probably
Yeah.
so. We'll see. Put in the
We
comments.
we said 8
if you know exactly how many
8 times, 14 times. Everybody's going to remember.
Hog Holsters. Just go to hogholsters.com. One of the things that I think that is very interesting from the debate that came out last night is, well, clearly there are those who are prepared to or are working to try and win the White House. And it appears that the Democrats, even still with the performance of the debate, are not happy with Miss Kamala Harris because, according to the Babylon Bee, fake news you can count on, Democrats to replace Kamala on ballot with ABC moderators. They are on the same team.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I think they would probably win.
Now, to the folks out there
they would win the Democrat nomination. They would win the Democrat nomination.
Now, Mike, I will say this. I do believe that there are a number of folks out there who do believe, or at least according to the Babylon Bee, that do believe that Trump won the debate last night. And there was a key moment in which that actually occurred. According to the Babylon Bee, Trump jumps 30 points in the polls after telling Kamala Harris to be quiet.
And you know what? I thought it was perfect. He got one zinger in. Okay, I'm talking now. Be quiet. Sound familiar? Okay, that was exactly what he needed to do, and he did that again in the first 20 minutes. So it was good. It was a good point he made.
Now, sadly, though, the media is actually, they are very, very much, one of the things that they have been confirmed that they are fact-checking on had Britney Spears, not Britney Spears. Why do I keep saying Britney Spears? I guess they're all the same. Huh? Britney Spears. Taylor Swift has come out and endorsed Kamala Harris. Well, this was the spin on that one. Woman who made career singing about her bad choices endorses Kamala.
Yes, I heard that. Oh, for the record, go Britney Spears. She's a much better person than
Britney Spears is a much better person. At least Britney's not a childless cat lady.
I'm all about some Britney. Yeah, she's Britney, bitch. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, that was like, I'm like, really? I mean, it was what was funny about that one was when the endorsement came, it was all over MSNBC, CNN were playing it in the ticker thing, and they were all excited. Britney, it's so brave for her to come out and endorse. And I'm thinking to myself, so it's brave to endorse the candidate that everybody in the entire, that every A-list entertainer has endorsed. There's something brave about that.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, it's the only thing brave is that, like, I think the way I saw it was that when she announced it, they said the Kansas City Chiefs now support Taylor Swift.
Well, you know, if she's able to write plays for her boyfriend Travis Kelce, well then why not endorse presidential candidates? I mean, she is the Jackie of all trades.
Yeah, and listen, I got nothing against old Travis Kelce here, right? We all know about the hot crazy scale. I mean, you hang on as long as you can for that ride, and that's what he's doing right now. She's doing it. He's doing it.
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. All right, folks. So that's going to be about it for today. But before we go, we're going to go ahead and give another quick shout out to our sponsors.
Yep. Visit those friends at Hitman Industries, hitmanindustries.net. Go get yourself some AR barrels for your next build or repair your current platform. That's hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly, fighting a good fight behind enemy lines. Come take part in California's future today. And if you want the best in field gear, tactical gear, web gear, outdoor gear, whatever it may be, you get everything except the gun at uscombatgear.com.
That's right, folks. Please take a moment, visit our sponsors by following the link to their website in the description of this program. And with that, we are done for the day. We appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate you liking and sharing the program and encouraging your friends to do the same. We will be back tomorrow on Throat Punch Thursday. Till then, y'all have fun, stay safe, and if you get a chance, make sure to send a few downrange for us. Y'all take care.